Okay, big Twitter announcement. Ron DeSantis yesterday, and it was botched. Sugarcoat things by any stretch of the imagination. It was botched. Did it matter? I don't know. Funds came in. DeSantis can make the claim that he broke the internet. Okay, neither here nor there. In the grand scheme of things, does it really matter? No. The reality is Ron DeSantis taking a risk by announcing on Twitter and this new platform. Absolutely. But I do believe that he's going to have to take some risks. He's going to have to take some risks if he wants to win the nomination for the Republican Party, especially dealing with Donald Trump. And I've talked about this here on the podcast. I think it would be a great big risk, but I would do it. Is again, I've talked about this in terms of talk radio. When I learned this years ago doing live call-ins and whatnot, and how you can't argue with idiots. Okay, if you want to have a Socratic discussion with somebody, fine. You want to debate facts, whatever it may be. As soon as somebody delves off into their own little world and their own nonsense, there, you just walk away. You just walk away because you're not going to go anywhere. The conversation's never going to rise above that level. And again, Ron DeSantis is going to be getting it from Donald Trump. And was Ron DeSanctimonious, and he's not loyal and all this stuff. You dismiss him like you'd be dismissing some nonsense from a child. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to do, but I think it is a winning formula. Let's take a look at DeSantis and his track record in the state of Florida. Again, you are what your record says you are. It's the old Bill Parcells line. And the amount of people that have moved to the state of Florida, adding congressional seats, the fact that you won by 20 points in what was considered a purple state not long ago, bringing Hispanics over to your side. I mean, a myriad of things that he has done very, very well. Again, you take a look at his background and where he went to school. Again, he's got all of the Ivy League credentials, which, again, don't impress me that much. The fact that he was in the Navy and served in Iraq. Again, let's take a look at his legislative record. Okay. Universal school choice, billions of dollars in protection for the Everglades in the state of Florida, tort and insurance reform, paycheck protection for workers in public unions, tax cuts, free speech and higher education. And he's gone against woke ideology. But again, one of the biggest, I want to talk about the success is, again, Florida was an oasis during the pandemic. It was an oasis. Going down there, I mean, it saved my sanity. It really did. I had a real tough time with all of the BS and all the nonsense that was taking place up here in the north, and the juxtaposition. I mean, you take a look; it was extraordinary. You take a look at, and we're going to get into this now, the Disney DeSantis feud. Bob Iger should be kissing Ron DeSantis' ass, because whereas in the state of California, his parks were shut down, DeSantis reopened them in the state of Florida, allowing them to put some more money in their pockets. And again, that's never really pointed out. That to me, his leadership during the pandemic was absolutely extraordinary, and what was done there in the state, and should be commended for that. With that being said, my issues, again, every candidate out there you're going to have issues with. I'm not a big fan of this ongoing debate that he's having with Disney. And again, I get it. You had Bill Barr come out and say that he's in the right when it comes to this Reedy Hill Development District that Disney has. I get it. However, it coincides too much with the little back and forth in regards to the issues that he's having right now. But I'm a big believer that not a single company in the country should get subsidies, handouts, and special deals. I'm a big believer that Jefferson was right, that we should be equal under the law. We're not here in this country. Disney is not the only business in the state of Florida that gets all sorts of special perks and deals. In case you didn't know this, when Bill Clinton was, getting himself in trouble with Monica Lewinsky, he was on the phone with one of the biggest donors to the Democratic Party. It was one of the Fanjul brothers from Big Sugar in Florida. His brother happens to be one of the biggest donors to the Republicans. Gee, that's called a hedge, my friends. And we can take a look at the terms of the CHIPS Act. Okay, Micron Technologies building a factory in upstate New York outside of Syracuse. The only reason why they're doing that is Chuck Schumer is a powerful senator. Normally, you wouldn't be putting it there. It's because of the subsidies and tax breaks that they're having to happen. Elon Musk, those solar panels that Tesla was supposed to make a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away, I got a big plant outside of Buffalo that's not producing a damn thing, for crying out loud. Okay, so stop. Okay, all of these companies get handouts and giveaways. Again, let's talk about society, if you will, and societal issues that we're dealing with right now in woke agenda and this and transgender and pronouns and I don't know, whatever the hell you want to call this period that we're going into. Where I would advise Ron DeSantis, and this is for everybody else out there, the market will take care of itself. The world will take care of itself. We don't need this, and we have this idea here that we need to look to Washington or somebody to solve our problems and grievances, when more often than not, if you show a little bit of patience, they're going to work themselves out. I mean, Bud Light. How about Bud Light? Well, see where their sales are at this point in time? See the sales? You don't need a politician stepping in or anything like that. The market will figure it out. Again, if I was Ron DeSantis and having this, upset with Disney because Disney came out against this, it was a misnomer. Don't say gay bill. Has nothing to do with that at all. I mean, that's again that's the left framing that argument. If Disney wants to come out and say that, I would be like, okay, Disney has a right to their opinion, but I'd also add in there as well, they might want to pay greater attention to their share price, which hasn't been doing too well. And maybe, in my opinion, I think that has something to do with the type of woke policies and garbage movies that you keep putting out. Just saying, might be. That's it. And let it lie right there. I think that's a much better way of handling things. I mean, we've seen the blowback. Target, quick, fast to some of this stuff. That's happened. I saw a story this past week. North Face has got some magical, happy, joy, trans, gay camping marketing thing that they've got going on right now. How do you think that's going to work out for them? Again, stupid is as stupid does. You want to wreck your own brand and ruin yourself. That's up to these companies, and let the customers and shareholders decide. But it's one of the things that, unfortunately, politicians get themselves into. It's okay. People are going to ask you what your opinion is on certain things, and you can give it. But always say, hey, you know what? I'm going to let the market decide. It's not my place to get involved in this. And quite frankly, on that stuff, I wish he would have stayed out of it. I'm going to reiterate again some thoughts that I made here on the previous podcast, talking about Republicans and if they can think a little bit differently. They can think a little bit differently and not coming out in attack mode on one another, but discussing the issues at hand. And again, I was interviewed this morning program, and again, this is very much a the host and the program listens to very much pro-Trump people. I don't care. I mean, I was going off. I ain't going off on the ridiculous campaign ads being run by the MAGA groups out there, attacking Ron DeSantis when it comes to his position on entitlements and some of the things that he wants to get done. And I'm here to tell all of you super Trumpsters out there, if you think your candidate is a leader, why is he not leading on entitlements? It's too hard for him. It's too hard. Donald Trump doesn't want to do it. Not politically speaking. It's a third rail of American politics. Now, I'm sorry. In my book, if you don't take on these very important issues, these very difficult issues, I think you're kind of a coward. Are you not? The problem is it's not going to go away by itself. You can't wish it away. Within 10 years, Social Security and Medicare are going to be cut by 25%. Again, we told you this back in the 1990s. I wrote columns about this. I've been warning that this is going to happen. Back in 2004, George W. Bush wanted to do something about it. Mitch McConnell shut him down, said it was too hard. Too hard at the time. They had no political capital because they were burning it in Iraq at the time with that nonsensical war that cost us a fortune. We shouldn't have these problems. These problems that we have, they're all because of the people in Washington, D.C., which inevitably are our problems because we vote for these idiots. Something needs to be done. So we're going to run campaign ads. Oh, my God, the humanity. Ron DeSantis wanted to raise the retirement age. People are living longer. I know the overall mortality rate has gone down, but that's due to young people dying and drug overdoses. The older people are living longer and healthier. And we continue to see more and more medical advances. And as we continue to get people to pre-screen for things, you spot a lot of cancers in their infancy, they can knock them out. And the more this testing that they're going to do, they're going to be able to find these things earlier and deal with them, which means, guess what? You're going to hit 70. You got a pretty good chance you're going to reach 80. And you reach 80, you're going to make a chance you get 90. This is the reality. And you think Social Security can afford this? No, it can't. So this is the terrain. This is what's presented. You might not like it right now, but you have to deal with it. And again, going back, I gave Emmanuel Macron from France, I gave him kudos here. So here's a guy that's dealing with riots and fires and people up in arms in France because they wanted to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64. And he dealt with it and he won. I don't know. Who knows what'll happen in France? You get different politicians come in and may flip it back. But are you kidding me? You're gonna wish it away? You got Joe Biden and you got Donald Trump, two of the leading candidates that are the simpatico when it comes to entitlements. They no problem here. Not going to touch it. Not going to do a darn thing. Well, guess what? That problem's not going away. And again, it's something I'm talking about because this is what you want in leaders. You want them to deal with the difficult issues. You want them to deal with these problems. And that's again, why do you think Trump is going after DeSantis when it comes to these issues? Same reason why Democrats have been doing it. Same why Democrats ran an ad targeting Paul Ryan back in the day, pushing a grandmother off a cliff. Not leadership, people, not leadership. Anyway, WatchDog on WallStreet.com.